Hello, everyone. Welcome to the TIP Tuesday Live for today. I trust we're all doing well. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the TIP Tuesday Live, our weekly webinars organized by the Intentional Parent Academy. I trust you're all doing well. I trust you're excited and ready to learn. Now, if you're here, let me know where you are joining us from. My name is Precious James Warner, and I will be your facilitator for today. Today, we're going to be having the conversation around the roles you are to play in fostering your child's academic success. Now, if you're live on this call, let us know if this is your first time. So, if this is your first time joining us, please let us know where you are joining us from. I can see Abduni from Lagos. I can see Joy from Oshobo. If you're here, we're going to use the next couple of minutes. Let us know where you're joining us from. And if you have any parent who is preparing for the new school year, please let them know that we are live for this session. I know that the OGs of the Tuesday Live are wondering, where's Coach Wendy? Where's Coach Wendy? Coach Wendy is off for an official duty. She will be back with us from next week, but today we have the floor to share with you what you can do to foster your child, how you can partner to foster your child's academic journey. I can see Sarah from Ghana. I can see Shirley from Abuja. I can see Juan from Ibadan. Welcome, everyone. If this is your first time of joining this Tuesday Live, leave a comment in the chats below. Simply write my first time. Let us welcome you with a special TIP welcome. If you're joined, I can see Brenda from Abuja. I can see Shirley from Abuja. I can see Jenny from Lagos. I can see Grace from England. Temitope says she's glad to be here. I am glad to be here too. So Coach is out for an official duty, but the show continues. We're going to have the conversation around how the roles, the specific roles. Oh, guys, please hand Temitope, our special TIP Tuesday. Welcome. This is her first time, and this is also Jeanette's first time. Welcome, guys. Welcome. This is the TIP Weekly Tuesday Live, organized by the #1 parenting academy in the whole of Africa, which is the Intentional Parent Academy. Now, as a way of introduction, when we say that it takes a village to raise a child, oftentimes we look at it from the perspective of parenting. We look at the support the parent enjoys. We look at the support the child enjoys from families, from neighbors. Oftentimes, we don't have this conversation along the lines of the school system. The truth is that for your child to succeed academically, we also need a village. Now, I'm not just having this conversation as a team member of the Intentional Parent Academy. I am having this conversation as an educator who wants parents to be armed as we approach the new school year. I can still see all of us. If you're joining us, please let us know where you're joining us from. We would love this class to be interactive. Now, when we say that it takes a village to raise a child, permit me to retweak this and say that it takes a village to support a child to thrive academically. Paying fees, buying uniforms, identifying the best schools, hiring the best lesson teachers is not going to be enough. For the trajectory that learning is going in the 21st century, we need parents to take the seat. We need parents to take the front seat. Now, there's a reason why researchers have said that parental involvement is the #1 predictor of academic success. There is a reason why. The reason is simple because parental involvement involves the actions you take. The actions in this case is not just paying fees. Coach Wendy is going to say that paying fees is minimum entry level. I was saying to some group of parents some time ago that I know that in this new term, everybody's heads are sparking. The average school has increased their fees by at least the 50%. Now, a lot of parents, all they're thinking about is the next fees I need to pay, the backpack I need to buy, the school shoes I need to buy, the books I need to buy, forgetting that there are more important roles that you should have started playing in preparing your child for a school year that would enable them thrive. Now, what does parental involvement mean? And what are these roles that you should understand? These roles would involve the actions that you would take as a parent. These roles would involve the attitudes you would need to imbibe. These roles would involve a collaborative partnership that would have to move beyond paying fees. Now, trust me, paying fees with the dollar almost to 1,000 is a big deal. If you are able to do that for your child, kudos. But on this platform today, we would love to tell you that paying fees is still minimum entry. For a child who will thrive academically, you would have to do more than paying fees, attending PTA meetings, supervising homework, to a holistic commitment to your child's overall development. Now, the question is, what do I begin to do? The question is, what should you begin to do? Number one role is that you must understand why your child is struggling with learning. You've gotten your child's report, you've analyzed the report, you are able to tell the challenges your child had in the last term. You have been able to see a decline from an A grade in maths to a C grade in maths. Are you going to leave that as it is and hope that your child is going to improve? Or are you going to take the front seat to begin to unravel why that child experienced a decline? Now, academic challenges, academic issues do not disappear. I want to see this in the comment section. Academic challenges, learning difficulties do not disappear. Rather, they compound. Why? Because learning is built on a stable foundation. If your child is struggling right now, trust me, you want to begin to know what to do. Just last week, a parent reached out. She was so concerned. She has a child who's supposed to get into get into secondary school. But at this point, he can't do the basic academic competencies. He can't read, he can do a lot of things. And as the mother shared her concerns with me, I literally carried my hand on my head and I was thinking, so what have you guys been doing? This child has passed through teacher 1, teacher 2, teacher 3, teacher 4. And we're looking at the academic issues compound and we're just staring. There we have a child whose self-esteem is already being affected. The first role you should begin to check is one, if my child is encountering academic difficulties, why? Take it from me, there is a reason. Number one reason could be that the home environment, the family dynamics do not support that child's learning. It could be that the family, you, the parents, the family system does not support your child's learning. It could be a reason. A supportive, nurturing home environment can boost a child's learning, while an unsupportive home environment can deter a child from learning. So, in taking your seat, taking this pivotal role of supporting your child, you want to sit back and begin to ask, how is my home environment? What structures do I put in place to help my child thrive? What structures would I need to remove? Now, beyond yourself, what immigration plan do you have? Because parents can put up the right policies, but the visitors to their home come and scatter the structures they put in place. So, what is your immigration plan to ensure that the people who are coming into your home, your siblings, your in-laws, your family, how are you putting up the plan to ensure that they're aligning with your thoughts? We've seen parents who put up the right structures, a stable study time, the right nurturing environment, but the people they're bringing into their home are averse to this structure. So, to enable your child's right, we're not just talking parenting now, we're even talking for academics. You must ensure that there's a migration plan for people coming into your home. If my child fails, we do not tease them because they will carry that same mindset to learning. If my child is struggling, we help. We don't tease. We don't compare. We don't insult. So your brother doesn't come and spoils everything you've been doing all along. So create a supportive home environment. Number two, identify learning difficulties if there are any. Learning disabilities and difficulties are more prevalent than we think they are. In fact, a research states that 1 in 5 children will struggle with learning disabilities or learning difficulties. Now, in evaluating if your child has learning difficulties, we're going to begin to check how is their reading? How are they thriving with reading? How is their maths? How are they thriving with maths? Are they struggling to write? At an age where your first child scaled through, is your child having significant troubles? At age 5, is your child still struggling to recognize letters? Are they still struggling to blend sounds? It's as simple as that, because when it is not nipped in the bud, it's waiting for your child in grade 4. A child who has an illegible handwriting at a point, can you begin to look at it? What is the issue? Does your child have difficulty understanding math concepts? And you're just still looking. And then in our family, we don't used to learn math. So is that what you're saying? Or are you identifying things you can begin to do to support that child? Does your child have attention deficit problems? Do you find that your child, to a large extent, cannot pay focus, cannot pay attention? Now, every child will struggle with attention deficiencies once in a while. We live in a society that has an uproar. Attention is becoming expensive. But do you identify that this is way more than what I have noticed in other children? Are you able to recognize that your child's attention span is a lot lower than how it should be normally? You want to begin to beam light on the potential struggles that your child might be facing. Number 3, are you advocating for them in school? I'm going to have to say this again, but children learn differently. We say this, we can't emphasize on this enough at the academy. We cannot say this and say this enough. The very fact that your child would learn differently. Now, you've understood your child's learning style. You've understood how your child learns. How are you advocating for this child in school? How are you communicating with your child's teachers to enable your child thrive? You've gotten the knowledge. You attended the identifying your child's learning style course. How have you taken this knowledge to advocate for your child in school? Another challenge is that you're not monitoring progress. You are only looking at the scorecard that your teacher gives you at the end of the term. We are not looking at the way the child was learning in term 1. We're not looking at the way they were enthusiastic about learning. Before a child's grade drops, there are signs and symptoms that child would have begun to show to you. They lack interest. A child that would typically pick up their homework to do, you have to shout, you have to yell, you have to complain. That's a pointer saying there's a problem happening here. So how are you monitoring their progress through the term? When it's time for open day, what conversations are you having with your child's teachers? That's a conversation to be having. Along with this thought would be your child's engagement in learning. Does your child lack motivation? Is your child disengaged? Are they struggling to focus? The spark you saw in their eyes in term one about learning, is it declining? Are you checking? Is there a new teacher? Is my child being bullied? These are the things you could begin to do to evaluate your child's learning difficulties or progress. As we plan for resumption from next week or the upper week, those are the conversations you want to begin checking. Is my home environment supportive? Have I been able to identify if there, it doesn't have to be dyslexia. It can be as minute as a drop in grade. You want to begin to question that. What happened here? It could be as minute as a disengagement from learning activities. You want to begin to question it. You want to begin to ask the right questions. These are things that could help you. When we get to the point of teacher collaboration, these are the things that would help you understand the conversations you begin to have as we get back to school. The next point, the next role, is you will have to reprogram your child's mindset. Now, when we talk about academic success, our minds just goes to A. That's all we think about. But oftentimes, it is more than that. Success in academics will first start from the mind. The same way we talk about success in life starting from the mind, success in academics will first start with your child's mindset. So, if I am permitted to ask this question, what attitudes, what beliefs, what habits are shaping how your child approaches learning? I'm going to ask that question again. What mindset, what beliefs, what habits are shaping your child's mindset? Now, let's make this class interactive. If I were to ask the question, what do you think is the number one secret of academic success? What will be your answer? Will you say intelligence? Will you say a high IQ? Will you say a premium school? I want to throw the question back to you. If I were to ask, what is the secret of academic success? Think about the children who thrive academically. What do you think is their secret? Do you think it is the fact that the child is intelligent? Do you think it's because that child has a very high IQ? What do you think is the secret? Let's interact in the comment section, guys. Thank you, Dr. Happiness, for being our scribe. Yes, reprogram your child's mindset. Kelechi Obi says, do the required checks to identify the cause of decline. Fantastic. Thank you. Kende says parental involvement. Ayeni says persistence. Chika says mindset. Ndule says emotional balance. I love these answers. These answers are brilliant. Can I have 3 more responses from you guys? Let's do this interactive. What do you think is the number one? We have series of factors. Someone says good teachers. Thank you, Juliet. The other person says nurturing, and Becky has taken it a lot higher. Becky says, Becky, let me show what you say. Becky has shown that she's in the inner circle. Becky says an executive functioning skill that has been well built. Beautiful answers. Someone has said the right mindset. Someone has said moral support from parents. Your answers are beautiful. They are not far from the truth. And I love that your thoughts are aligning with mine. The number one secret of academic success in learners is a self-regulated learner. Let me say it in the comment section. If your child is going to thrive academically, they are going to first become self-regulated. The motivation for success will have to move from extrinsic motivation to intrinsic. Think about it. Think about everybody that's skilled in your school, when you were in school, whether it's in uni, whether it's in primary school. Think about anybody who topped the charts of your class. You will notice that they didn't need to push these guys to learn. The parents didn't need to fight. These guys took their learning as a personal project. So, along with reprogramming your children's mind, you would have to identify how to enable your child become a self-regulated learner. And the number one way of achieving this is through inculcating and imbibing the right learning mindset. There are two learning mindsets. We have the growth learning mindset. We have the fixed learning mindset. Learners who are not self-regulated, learners who are not intrinsically motivated to learn, oftentimes have the fixed mindset. Now, what are the attributes of the fixed mindset? In the fixed mindset, learners believe that intelligence, capabilities, abilities, and talents are fixed traits. They believe literally that individuals are born with intelligence. So, therefore, they don't need to learn. They don't need to commit. They don't need to put in the work. They don't need to put in the effort. If your child is going to thrive, the number one mindset reprogramming you will need to do is to fix the growth mindset. Whereas the fixed mindset says that child's intelligence is fixed. If you're intelligent, you're intelligent. If you're not intelligent, you're not intelligent. You have to move from that to the growth mindset that says through effort, persistence, perseverance, resilience, I can learn. This is the number one difference. IQ is not it. As an educator, I have seen children that I know this child is smart. This child is gifted. This child is intellectually gifted. This child is, I have seen children like that do averagely. And I have seen children who are not so, like you see this child, you see the effort. So in reprogramming your child's mind, you would have to move. You as a parent would need to move from this person is intelligent because they are gifted to if you do the work, you will see the result. Let me see this in the comment section. So as you prep your children's minds for school, you need to share with them that consistent effort, consistent resilience, consistent perseverance, consistent doing the work. If you thought about it, this was the difference between anybody that you see anybody that you've seen to have thrived in school. This is the secret of that child. Consistency. So the question we're going to be asking is, how consistent is my child? How consistent is my child? How consistent is my child with the effort they're putting in? Or does my child have the fixed mindset? Now, what are the characteristics of learners with a growth mindset? Number one, they must have resilience. In the children we're raising today, we're raising lily-livered children. A child fails in math and they've given up. Mentally, physically, effort-wise, they have given up. If a child is going to thrive, they must have what I would call a bounce back ability. They must have what we call a bounce back ability. They must see failure as opportunities for success. A child who's going to thrive. So these are the skills you will begin to inculcate in your child. Bounce back ability, anti-fragility, grit. That no matter the effort that would need to put in to thrive, I can put it in. Whereas the child on the other side who has the fixed mindset believes that if I pass, I pass. Have you heard children say that? If I do well, I do well. So the trait of growth mindset is resilience, curiosity. A child who has a growth mindset is curious. They want to know why. Remember, coach would always say that he who knows why is better than he who knows how. A child who will thrive must know the why. They must be able to explore. Number three, they must be able to put effort and perseverance. Success is not magical. Anybody who you see thrive in their academics, trust me, they've put in the work. It's no magic. I know that we have this saying that, this child in my class, they will just stay in class, they will replay after they will take first. You'd never know the background work that has been done. This term, this new school year, focus on effort and persistence. Now, I would take a pause to talk about the back to school masterclass. The back to school masterclass is a gift that the academy has given to you. Now, what I love best about the back to school masterclass is the effort that the academy has put into curating that masterclass. So we're not just talking about learning here. We're talking about how your child can transition to boarding school. Tell me where you could Google how my child can transit to boarding school, and you can get the quality of knowledge that you can get from that masterclass. Have you heard coach talk about how to choose a school for your child? Have you heard Taiwa Kinlami talk about security and safety for your child? Have you heard where I talked about how to lay a learning foundation for your child? Look, if you have not gotten the back to school masterclass, I don't know what you're doing. Now, people in the inner circle, of course, they are our favorite people. They have free access. But if you're outside the inner circle, it is just for 5,000 naira only. There are details on your screen. Please make payment until we release the curriculum for the back to school masterclass this year. If you're there, please, if you're in the back to school masterclass, let me see you in the comment section. Type I am in. And if you're going to join the back to school masterclass, let me see you write in the comment section, I'm getting in. About 10 masterclasses. 10. After the back to school masterclass, you will be so equipped to enable your child thrive. You will be, Kehinde says she is in. I love it. If you're in, drop it in the comment section. I am in. Wisdom says that she is in. The back to school masterclass comes up in the coming weeks. You want to get on board. You want to get, what I love best are not just the classes, the new classes you'll be accessing. It is the fact that the academy, has given you access to back to school masterclass 1.0, where we had the Taiwo Akinlami. If you attended the conference, you know why I said that he is the Taiwo Akinlami. Last year we had a man talk about the boarding school system. He opened up our eyes. We had Mrs. Bankole, Olusola Bankole from the banking school Abuja. You heard coach rave about the banking school. You will know why you should get that masterclass. One of the best educators I have come across. She's there. Of course, I have shared in the back to school masterclasses, and we will be. If you see, oh my God, let me not let too much out of the bag. Get into the back to school masterclass. Team, please let's share the details on the screen. This masterclass is going to equip you, literally equip you. Thank you for the I am in. Delight said that she's getting in. Let me highlight Delight. Well done, Delight. We can't wait to welcome you. We have thousands of parents who have gone through this masterclass and thousands who will be in the masterclass this year. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. All right, let's move on along the how to develop a growth mindset. We're going to look at more of this in the inner circle, during the back to school masterclass. But one way of boosting your child's intelligence and their growth mindset is to focus on effort, not intelligence. Focus on effort, not intelligence. So the effort, when you're praising your child, your emphasis should not just be that it's called a 100 grade. You're a parent who is informed. Go beyond to praising the effort you saw. I would rather praise a child who scored 80. I would rather reinforce a child who scored 80 in their test, but put in the commensurate work than praise a child who scored 100, but I could see that no work was put in. So one way of boosting your child's growth mindset is to focus on the effort. This is why I love that schools are beginning to incorporate reinforcing and awarding children who are not just the high flyers in the class, but children who put in the effort. Children who put in the effort. Number two, while looking at the right framework, would be to understand your child's motivation triggers. Remember that we've mentioned that we have two motivation two children that are motivated. Sorry, we have the children who are intrinsically motivated. We have children who are extrinsically motivated. The intrinsically motivated children are children who are self-regulated. They have that self push to commit to whatever they're doing. Then the extrinsically motivated children are children who, for some reason, want to be spoiled on the outside. Trust me, we have more extrinsically motivated children than we have intrinsically motivated children. Write it down. We have more extrinsically motivation. If we were to do a poll now on the 117 people on this call today, we are going to see that we have more extrinsically motivated children, children that you would need to do things to trigger their motivation. So the question is, what can I do for my child? Now, I have been researching and I find a lot that just as adults are motivated from their love language, a child can be motivated from their love language. Let me say it again. Just as an adult whose love language is acts of service, and you've helped that person do something that previously they might have found difficult to do, just as that person would be motivated because you did something for them, they'll be motivated to do something else in return. That is the same way children will be motivated if you speak the love language. If a child's love language is words of affirmation, imagine the thing that you're doing when all you're saying are critical words, when your criticisms are not constructive, when they're destructive. Just imagine for a second the danger you're causing to that child, whereby this child would naturally be motivated by how they understand and interpret love. This child wants to be affirmed. They want to know that what they do matters. The child wants to, irrespective of their learning difficulties, that they can still do. Imagine if all you're doing is to compare that child. Imagine if all you're doing is to insult that child. Imagine what you're doing to that child. So, as you're here today, begin to have a mental repositioning. Identify, what are my child's motivation triggers? What do I say to my child now that can spur them? Tap into that. If your child's motivation triggers are physical gifts, they want something. Can you look for a way? Now, I'm not saying that you should raise children who are praise junkies, children who always want to be given something to learn. No. I'm saying that as the intentional parent you are, can you find a way to, this is a trigger. You don't trigger things all the time. When you're to trigger a thing, you identify when it's in a null stage, then you trigger. Yeah. So in that same case, you're using your child's what's it called, love language is not something you do all the time. Okay, I will give you a gift. Go and read. No. We just say that it is a trigger. It is something to motivate. When your child is literally demotivated, what words can you say? When your child has a test and you're putting in love notes into their bag, what are you saying? A child that loves physical touch, it could just be a high five. I find that this happens a lot for children who are in early years. Just a simple fist bump and it's as if you give the child gold and silver. So identify your child's motivation triggers and look for how to use it. Now, am I saying you should raise children who will have to depend on motivation for them to learn at every time? No. I'm only saying that you should balance it up. Okay? Now we move to advocating for your child. We move to advocating for your child. Now, I know that the parents in this call are not the kind of parents I want to talk about. But in case that you're strolling and you're hearing me, your child's teacher is not the enemy. Write it in the comment section. I don't know who gave parents this mindset that the child's teacher is the enemy, that your child's teacher is against your child. Please take it from me, your child's teacher is not the enemy. Rather, seek ways, even if you don't like your child's teacher, you don't like your child's teacher's face, and your child is in that class, parents fall in love because your child's teacher is an equal partner in their academic success. Take it or leave it. You can send your child to the best schools, but if the teacher is wrong, the teacher is the implementer of the best policies of a school. So you must find a way to partner. So the field we see going around with parents, please can it stop this term? Look for ways of partnering with your child's teachers. This is very paramount. Now, in partnership, parent-teacher partnership, what should you do as we approach the new term? Number one, ask for a meeting with your child's teacher. Ask for a meeting with your child's teacher. This would enable you advocate for your child better. So I expect that as parents are moving into the new term, one of the conversations you're going to begin to have with your child's teacher is number one, how best can I communicate with you? How best can I communicate with you? What is the school's policy on parent-teacher communication? Okay, does the school allow the parents to have access to the teachers? Is there a school portal where you can communicate with the teacher? Can I place a random call? These are the questions you should begin to ask. Do I send emails? Do I text you? Do I leave a message with the school administrator and it will get to you? Understand how best, because you would need to communicate your observances with the teacher. You would need to communicate the challenges your child is having. You would need to communicate what you've noticed. Okay, it is very, very key. The second thing you're going to ask the teacher is, how do I support this child at home? How do I support because you know how to support. But in the teacher's words, how best can you not just support the teacher, but also support the learner? In the teacher's words, how can you, or how can the teacher, in this case, support the child? The next would be, how do I contribute to the classroom? How do I contribute? Of course, along with the policies of the school. Let me say it again. Of course, along with the policies of the school. But you want to ask, how do I contribute to the classroom? How do I contribute to make your work easier? How do you contribute to make the teacher's work easier? The next thing you would have to give your child's teacher, you would have to give your child's teacher your child's profile. Number one, it really helps with a smooth transition. Are there developmental difficulties or challenges that your child is having? Please open up to the teacher. Does your child have delayed speech? Does your child have selective mutism? Does your child have attention disorders? Does your child have What challenges does your child have generally? Open up to the teacher. It helps in smooth transition. When a child knows that when a teacher knows that a child has learning anxiety, or a child was in a former school and he sent them to a new school, and a child's confidence has been destroyed. It would help. Last term, I had a child coming. I don't know what had been done, but this child grappled with severe self-esteem issues. And the point the mom walked into my office, that was the first thing she told me, that I don't know. My child has self-esteem issues. So when we started teaching that child, we didn't go from learning. We went from building her esteem. Because your child is going to tap from their esteem to the confidence they would approach learning with. So does your child grapple with anxiety? Do you find that your child finds it difficult adjusting to a new school, a new teacher? You want to have that conversation with your child. Number two, you should have the conversation of your child's learning style. Now, not a lot of schools use individualistic learning approach. So you might want to subtly just leave cues here and there. Okay, I find that if my child loses attention, if you use a lot of let me stop. Chin also says, what of secondary schools that have several subject teachers? Your child is going to have a form teacher. Your child is going to have a form teacher who is like a guardian in charge of that class. Yeah? So communicate with the form teacher. And if your child has specific subjects where they need support, then maybe if your child has needs support with maths, communicate with a maths teacher. Yeah, so you don't need to communicate with these 14 teachers, but your child is typically going to have a teacher that is in charge of that class. Okay, I believe I've been able to answer your question. Dr. Elizabeth says communicating with the teachers who are directly responsible for your child is key. As a school owner, this is allowed in my school. In fact, this conversation is important at the beginning of the session. That is fantastic. Now, if you can, if your school, your child, because I know a parent reached out to me last week that her child's school has blocked every access. In fact, they can't meet the teachers. They don't see the teachers from the beginning of the term to the end of the term. Like the school has very strict policies. You want to begin to counter those policies. You want to begin to counter those. You can't, your child can be in a school and you have no access. I'm not saying you should call the child's teachers. I'm just saying that can the school create a forum where, even if it's during open day, even if it has to be in a structured environment where there has to be supervision or something, but there just has to be a way that you communicate with your child's teachers. Okay, there has to be a way. Secondly, you have to look at your child's personality. Is your child a phlegmatic child who doesn't have a mind of their own? Is your child easily bullied? Those are the conversations you would need to have with your child's teachers. So we've said the conversation number one, your child's learning style. Not just the learning style, you also want to begin to look at and share with the teacher how you support your child and how they can support your child. You want to talk about any health challenges and any behavioral disorders, any developmental delays. You want to have that conversation with your child's teacher. You want to talk to your child's teacher about their personality. Your child's bum doesn't sit on the chair. Please tell the teacher. A good teacher will know how to curtail any excesses early than just being confused. Okay? You also want to look at your child's progress report. You want to analyze it to see where is this child coming from? Where are they going to? It's a conversation that you must have. Remember that your child's teacher is not the enemy. Now, trust me, we still have a lot of things to cover around the roles that you can play to enable your child to thrive in this school year. But the question is, where is the time? This is why the academy has created the Back to School Masterclass. The Back to School Masterclass is a series of conversations that will empower you with the knowledge that you need to take the center seat of your child's education. There are details on your screen right now that shares how you can register for the Back to School Masterclass. Even as a team member, this is one conversation I look forward to most in the academy. We've seen parents who are able to make the right choices for their children's education just because of the knowledge that they got from the Back to School Masterclass. We've seen parents who are able to create the right structures We've seen parents who are able to create the right transition to boarding school plan. This session from last year was so amazing. We've seen parents who were able to identify the right school for their children. We've seen early years parents who are already putting up the right learning foundation just from the back to school masterclass. Now, if the academy puts this masterclass at 30,000, you will agree with me that it is still. Think about the experts that are coming on board. Think about that we're giving you 11 planners. There's a full timetable, there's an affirmation worksheet. There are tons of things that just helps you transition back to school. So when parents are waking up next week and they're parrying, oh my God, it's back to school. You're getting into school, with your shoulders raised high, that I know what I'm doing. I am equipped for this. The details are on your screen. The details are on your screen. The last role that every parent should play to enable their child thrive is to build attention and focus. As we wrap up this conversation, let me see you write this in the comment section. Build attention and focus. Now, attention, the ability. So there's a reason why in sentence construction we don't say give attention. There's a reason why in sentence construction, we don't say borrow attention or take attention. We pay. You know what the word pay means? That is what we do to attention. So that sentence simply says that there has to be an effort that would be put in for a child to be able to give attention or to pay attention. Attention has become an expensive commodity in the 21st century. There is digital overload. There is the instant gratification culture. The instant gratification culture is a culture where children want things done now. So if the learning is not the way they want it, they zone out. Just 1 second, guys. Okay, I'm back. If the learning is not the way they want it, they zone off. We have information overload. We even have children who will struggle with attention because of their sensitivities. Now, what can you do to build attention? Time would fail me. It's already 2:57. We should be calling it a day already. But in the Back to School Masterclass, we're going to be exploring the science of focus and how to build focus and attention in your child. We're going to look expansively on the science of focus and how to build your child's attention and focus. Coach would always say that in the coming years, that distraction management will be a thing for parents because of the information overload and how oversensitized that children are becoming. If your child is going to thrive in the upcoming school year, you would need to build attention and focus. I know the next question is how. The how is, let me share the how with you. The how is coming up on your screen. Join the Back to School Masterclass. We're going to share expansively on this. I hope you found this session impactful. I hope you have had value. As we call it a day, let me know one thing that was said that resonated personally with you. And most importantly, tell me what you're going to begin to do to support your child's academics. In the next 5 minutes, I'll also be taking your questions. If you have any questions as you prepare for the back to school, let me know in the comment section. Okay? So let me know. Let me know, number one thing, what you begin to do. One quote that has stuck with you. We're going to pop them up on the screen. Back to School Masterclass is coming. Thank you so much for listening. If you have any questions, I will be here. Irony says raise a self-regulated learner. Yes, let the motivation be intrinsic. boost the growth mindset. Thank you so much for your audience. The back to school masterclass is coming. The details are on your screen. And also, guys, we have a free webinar on how to foster your child's academic success without a lesson teacher. The caveat is without a lesson teacher. Now, if you are in the groups, if you're in the Telegram group, we're going to be sharing details with you. Coach Wendy will be handling that session herself, and you know it's going to be a bombastic element. On Friday by 8 p.m. coach is going to take on that class on how to build structures that enables your child to thrive academically without hiring a lesson teacher. After that class, you're going, just like a lot of parents in the inner circle will have sacked their children's lesson teachers. You will sack your children's lesson teacher. After that session, you will learn what to do. The details will be sent to the groups you are in. Please ensure that you join that session. The back to school masterclass, the details will also be shared on your screen shortly. It's seller.co/academic success webinar. Seller.co/academic success webinar. That detail will be shared with you shortly. If you want to start your your child's lesson teacher, that class is for you. So I take it that we don't have any questions. We're going to quickly take an inner circle testimonial while we share the details on how to register for the how to foster academic success masterclass happening this Friday. I can't wait. A lot of you would need to start your children's lesson teachers, and that class would arm you with the knowledge that you need to achieve that. Adeleke says, what I picked today is to ensure to partner with my child's teacher. Fantastic. Okay, so it is 3 p.m. Thank you so much for joining. See you same time, same platform next week, Tuesday. God bless you.